So now then, so those that join us live on YouTube and on the stream itself on StreamYard, thanks for joining us. It's Smudger's The Missing Piece podcast. I'm going to do these more regular, as I said, and this is our second installation with our guest tonight, which is Hargreaves. Is one of the truthers that's on the circuit. He's had a lot of people throwing a lot of shit his way, but he stands his ground and keeps speaking his voice, because his voice is all he's got left, because that's all we've got left, really. So if you want to tell everybody on the stream a bit about yourself, mate, and your current situation and how you're seeing things progressing, just a quick overlay of how you see it.
Yeah, so my name's Anthony. I'm also from Leeds, born and bred. Basically, I've had a bit of a rough life. Do you know what I mean? My home life growing up were pretty rough. I left home at 14. I was hanging around with kids in kids' home and that more than my own family and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I felt more at home with the kids that were in the kids' home that didn't have an home. Do you know what I mean? Because of how rough it was at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, with all that came the drugs and the wild ways, the wildlife, the beatings, the bad stuff. Do you know what I mean? I've gone through a lot of stuff, probably like yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's never an easy ride, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like you said to me before in a phone call about carbon and pressure and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I've not had it easy. At 16 years old, I was still at high school, Lawnswood. And my social workers took me into the housing office, and I've got dumped into an hostel full of, drug users and bad people and that. Do you know what I mean? So I got put in that hostel at Woodhouse, and I ended up in Chapeltown, which is another pretty notorious area, where I had people trying to get me to sell crack for them, and I had, do you know what I mean, people trying to get me involved with guns and all this other kind of stuff. And I ended up moving to.
What age was that?
Chapeltown, yeah, it's bad. It is bad. I mean,
what age
getting in stolen cars, do you know what I mean?
What age, Anthony? What age was that at? What age was that at?
14, 15, 16, up to 17, do you know what I mean? Were my wildest years. Then I moved to Harrogate, because I met this bird. We were living in Beeston, and, she was from Harrogate originally, and she ended up getting a place in Harrogate, so I ended up moving over there. Now, you'd think with me moving away, I'd managed to keep myself out of bother and that, but I got abused at 16 in that hostel in Chapeltown by another lad, do you know what I mean? Which I can comfortably talk about it now because I feel, do you know what I mean? And my beef, as much as he hate the guy that did it to me, my beef's more at them above him that have made it a normal thing. You know what I mean? And
don't let it happen, really.
Yeah, well, that's it. Everyone's programmed. I spoke to you this about earlier. Once you realise the level of programming people are under, do you know what I mean? It makes it easier so you can focus on the actual enemy, do you know what I mean? Instead of wasting all your energies at these people that you don't need to waste your energies on.
Yeah, getting angry at people that don't know what they're doing, why they're doing it.
Yeah,
it's projecting hate, but while you're projecting it, you've got it inside you, so let 100%. It go, man. Let it go.
When people go through them traumas, and it don't have to be a sexual trauma, it can be an emotional trauma.
Yeah.
People can put people down really badly with words. Do you know what I mean?
And words are the worst, bro.
A lot of people, like I did, hit the drink, hit the drugs. I mean, I've never taken heroin or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? But I've taken all the ecstasies and the cannabis and the cocaines and all the other ones. Do you know what I mean? Ketamine, all these other drugs to kind of counteract the mental health problems that I had. Do you know what I mean? And that never helped. It used to make it worse. I ended up suicidal. Do you know what I mean? This is why. When you were talking about metals earlier, it made perfect sense with the mental health.
Yeah. Well, it separates the synapses. It stops the brain from having the balance. It stops it from connecting as it's meant to be. Symmetrical. But when you start to see that, like you've seen now, you can start to counteract it by detoxifying yourself and taking better care of what you eat and how you're interacting with people or things. So yeah, man, it's a knowing in it. It's not just a knowing; it's a way of life, because
it is
a bit like cleaning yourself every morning, brushing your teeth on the night in the morning, doing all these other things that you do just naturally daily. There's a bigger box. Not going to say that's a bit of a weird word. There's a bigger amount of wellness and well-being we can give ourselves on a daily basis that isn't that hard to do. We just need to change a few habits. And we are habitual creatures, so the habits that we create over a short period of time, it's not a very long period of time. It is on the really deep-rooted stuff. That's how they do it with the mind. But you see with the body and the day-to-day programming, all it takes is just to mindfully do that thing over and over again, and you control the muscles in your brain. You create the synapses, the connections again, and that'll become a normal thing. It's like getting up in the morning, eating a bit of having a bit of Siljet, or just these detoxification processes that I'm saying. And it doesn't taste the best when you first have it, like yak, I don't know again. But as long as you know that it's good for you, eventually it just becomes normal, and it doesn't hurt you anymore, because like eating that shit you're eating in shopping markets, like chocolate bars, I bet if you never had a chocolate bar in your life and you had that, it would be absolutely alien to you. Yeah, it tastes exciting, but the exciting part isn't the part that you really understand is damaging you. It's not the feeling that's damaging you, it's the after effects of the feeling. That heightened sensation, that desensitization as such, and obviously the damage to the rest of your body. So whilst they're doing these things, they're eradicating who you are, they're eradicating your core beliefs, they're eradicating your core programming. So we just have to move things subtly, move things subtly, but at the same time look at the bigger picture for the longer goal.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I've learnt loads. Obviously, I went to Media City last year. Like I say, for me, I'm not doing this because I want likes or I want friends or all like that. You know what I mean? Because I've been through what I've been through, I'm passionate about it. And I'm godfather to 2 kids. I thought I had a child 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I got close to that child. Do you know what I mean? And kids are the future. Do you know what I mean? That's
seeds. The seeds out there.
So when I've gone through that, and I can see that even since when I was a child. Do you know what I mean? I'm 32 now. It wasn't as bad then as it is now. It's ridiculous now. The talk. It used to be 1 in 20 that were abused. Now it's 1 in 10. Do you know what I mean? And when you look at the sentences in this country, what paedophiles and that get for ruining your life, it's soul destroying, mate. So that's the main reason I fight, wanting to get proper sentences for these people. And
it's
getting
boa constrictor out there. It's a boa constrictor. I see the whole world's a big boa constrictor, slowly but surely, constricting us oxygen, of time, of resources. It's just one big boa constrictor. It's like a big reptile just squeezing us. And it's like these little battles we've got here, like what you're doing now, your little escapade, your venture, your mission, so to speak, is one of many different angles we're looking at, many different ways in which we can change things, but they're all part of the same tentacles, they're part of the same beast. So it's just getting people together in groups and good solid groups with good solid strong leaders. And just imagine you're only strong as your weakest characters. You're only strong as your weakest men. So you need to make sure that you get a team around you. You need to make sure you get the team settled in the right order. But like a football team, you got the strongest ones to the front and your weaker ones getting pulled up at the back. Yeah, so I think you spoke about it.
Charlie, yeah, but we only went. There were 7 of us, mate. There were only 7 of us. There were there were 2 females there with a young one. There were dogs there. Do you know what I mean? There were 7 of us turned up to camp in the field at Astley Park, smack bang opposite the house. Nancy Pelosi and everyone were dining. Do you know what I mean? They were all in there having a meal and that.
I wish I'd known about that.
So we turned up there. Next thing, we had X5s on us. We had spotlights on us from other side at Water Fountain, right next to the big building. The police all came over to us. Obviously, the main thing I were doing, we're trying to red pill these police to tell them what we're going on. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, they were trying to tell us like we couldn't camp there. Do you know what I mean? But while we were talking to the police and red pilling them and that, Nancy and everyone actually got in the cars and disappeared, mate. They never came back. They were meant to be back the next day. They ended up going to Coronation Street where we just left, man. It was pretty weird, man. But then we had like a walk around Astley, and we walked inside where they'd been having the food and that. I've actually got a bottle of Fiji water in my fridge there, which if you know about Fiji and the trafficking and that, someone obviously left that there for us as a message. Do you know what I mean? A bottle of Fiji water there. And then there were a bottle of orange juice next to it. Now the orange juice, Fiji don't do an orange juice, and it was filled up to the top and the cap were broken. So, and then there were a happy birthday to Lindsay Hoyle, the guy who were running it, who lives in Chorley. Do you know what I mean? But we were right bang there, man. And just 7 of us, if 7 of us can go there and make them run away, imagine if there'd have been loads of, imagine if the roads surrounding had been blocked off. They couldn't have gone nowhere. They'd have had to answer our questions. And that's kind of like when I went to Media City.
And that's when you see the cracks in it. It's when you see the cracks when they're under pressure. You see the cracks form because they're not used to. Well, they're used to pressure, but when it's unscripted, when it's because what pressure they got given is scripted. When it's unscripted pressure, and it's a surprise and attack. And obviously they're expecting something, but when it's a surprise attack, when even it's an attack where they're expecting something larger, but it comes smaller, Then they start wondering why. They start questioning: is there something we're missing? That's that. It's all suspicion in the mind. These people are very, very well. They're very well thought. They're well thought, mate. They're well versed. They understand that the human psychology, but also you understand that people that come to see the police officers, the ones within their ranks that come to see, I guarantee that was high Freemasons. Because they wouldn't have gone there. Yeah, I mean, they'll had some top
another thing there, but we've obviously with all that, do you know what I mean? Like with London, going to London that year, and they're all trying to set me up there, and you can feel bad energies off a person, can't you? Yeah. I was surrounded, and my bed energy scale were off the chart. They were taking my right hand glove off, putting it upright in my top like that, and I thought, well, they could have put drugs or something in my glove, do you know what I mean? And then they're putting it up here. So obviously I said something, then they tried throwing me into a wall. I was literally praying to God, and then this copper came, AW883, and I could sense that he had good energies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Straight with him, I said to him, look, I've been exposing the cult stuff, the child trafficking and all that. I said, they try to frame me or do me in or something here. I said, I've done no wrong. They were on about GBH and noxious weapon charges, mate. I'd only attended a protest, you know what I mean?
Wow.
While I were getting booked in, the two coppers that are involved in taking my gloves off, because I've gone back through the videos and checked everything, they turned up at Charing Cross Police Station with the phone to get rid of the guy who were keeping me safe. So then he's disappeared out of sight, and they were going to leave my bag in the holding cell. So I was like, don't leave my bag there. Don't leave my bag there. They then brought me through. They then said, because of my mental health, I was going to have to be strip searched. Because I was left with a female. Females can't search you. So them two evil fuckers who'd been taking my gloves off, they turned up present. They were going to be strip searching me. So just as I'm about to kick off, and I'm like, no, not having it. Do you know what I mean? The 883, the cop who'd come and kept me safe, he just appeared out of the back, and he was like, do you want me? So obviously I just got in the cell, did my strip search. I've been in jail, do you know what I mean? I knew it, could get it over and done with, do you know what I mean? But he had to bring one of the lads that took my glove off with glasses on and a blue hat. He came with him, but he was really pissed off. I could see it in his face, so pissed off, do you know what I mean? And then he left the room as soon as the search was done. And the 883 said to me, he'd been in the job so many years, they knew it was going on, you know, they commended me for what I was doing, mate, do you know what I mean? As much as I have rants about police all the time, I say how much I hate them, but I know there is some good ones out there that actually do stand for us, do you know what I mean?
Well, it has to be, bro,
few and far between, like.
There's good and bad and everything, but you've got to see that obviously there is officers out there that don't want to be in that job, but they're in that job because they're worried about losing what they've got. They've done a lot to get there. Some of them haven't gone to the other side, and you've got to understand that these people are only doing it as much as they need to the point where they're going to have to either get off the fence on one or the other side or keep sitting there with splinters in their ass and take a lot of flack from both men. But I was still actually walking. I was actually walking with an old police officer from the beat, from the old beat on Belial and Midland the other day, and I was walking down with him. He was actually commending me for when I was doing my bit of dodginess, saying that how it actually helps them do their work, because there's a lot of people that got dealt with in different ways, but also that he sees how the world is, and that he sees how the masks are bullshit and how jabs are bullshit, and he hadn't taken his jab neither, and he said he nearly did, but then he went nah. He said that I realised. So there is a lot of cops out there waking up, but it's a matter of them finding each other as well. It's a matter of
some of the G7 that were saying when we were there, they were like saying how the mums and stuff were going to lose their jobs because they weren't taking jabs and stuff like that. So I'd seen it firsthand myself, and that's a good thing, because we need, like, we can't fight everybody, can we? Do you know what I mean? As much as sometimes we probably think like we could fight everybody, we literally can't. We need as many allies and as many people on the same planet, the same.
That's why I mentioned before on one of the lives about making sure that even those that have taken the wrong decision and gone down the wrong path, that we make them feel welcome and know. And it's not just for their benefit, for ours, but mainly for their benefit as well, because they've made a mistake, and we've got to be humane. We've got to understand that these people were led down that path with a blindfold on, and if we treat them right, then we've got extra allies. But also, they've also know that they've got confidence that we're going to look after their children if anything happens to them. It works both ways, and it's an exchange of trust, of energies, of knowing that people are going to be looked after, that they've got a confidence in the people around them, even though that they've gone and done the things. I mean, some have done it spitefully as well, some have done it nastily and then called us. And I'd like to think that even those that have turned their back on me at times, and they have, and probably yourselves and people in the chat as well, you've got to see it as that was always there. They was always there to test you. You can't go blaming them for things that they didn't realise there was casting their aspersions on you for. They didn't realise what they were saying and why. Yeah. They just thought they were doing right by not just everyone else but by them. And what you're doing by yourself is always the best thing for you to do, because all the mistakes you're making are the right mistakes to make. Yeah. So even the people that made mistakes with taking the job, they've done the mistake and done it. They've done it for their own reasons.
Well, that's it. I've got a mate, one of my really close mates. He came to a protest with me at Leeds, but he's not really a protest guy. But he opened his eyes up a lot that day because he saw some crazy stuff, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like police come after me. They try to kidnap me. They'd already kidnapped Joe and Amy and someone else. And I'd obviously give him a bit of a go. Do you know what I mean? So they really wanted me, mate. They sent squad cars after me and everything. Now, my mate will back me up on this, yeah. We were following two crows out of Leeds City Centre because we went to go under bridge at side at Leeds train station, and I seen the two birds that got my eye, do you know what I mean? So I never went down that road, and I seen a bull van at the end, and then they took me through, the crows actually took me through the St John's building place, you know, outside back at Old Tetley's, off at roads, mate, down there, and I ended up out of town. Once you're out of town, you know, you're all right, you're on home soil, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
You know the ways, yeah.
But he's seen it with his own, and he's never been one believing in spiritual stuff, do you know what I mean? But that day, that opened his eyes completely. He had a job. I couldn't stop him getting a job because, I mean, as much as he came to that protest with me and he was getting all that information, one of his mates ended up really, really ill, and they said it was COVID. And because he was a young lad, he scared me into submission. And he just went and got it. He got first one, ended up really, really ill, and he won't get another. Do you know what I mean? But it's mad how they've really manipulated people into getting this. Yeah. It really is.
Listen, mate, I won't lie to you. There's been at times I thought, and it's not I've done it for selfish reasons. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get the job. I've had enough. like a bit like the guy off Matrix. Go back to sleep. Just give me a burger, give me a steak, give me some fine wine. Not having
5 years ago, I would have done. When I didn't love myself, and I didn't like this. What I mean, it's important to love yourself. Do you know what I mean? And like when you've been at rock bottom and that, you understand, don't you? Like you can't love anyone else unless you love yourself.
Everything's, mate. Yourself, everything's that, mate. You know, like we just said earlier on, you can only throw hate at people who've got a lot of hate in you. You know, if you didn't know about hate, or you got rid of that hate energy, you'd only ever just smile at people and be right with people. You won't want anything bad of them. It's actually a virus. Hate is actually a virus. Hate is the virus of the mind and of the heart.
Gregory Hallett, he's said to be the Christ and the end times. You know, there's a lot of stuff to look into with Gregory Hallett. The only reason I believe so much is because when you put his name in gematry, it comes up 883, same as that copper who kept me safe, and same as my grandma got me a T-shirt. So it's kind of spiritual coincidences that have led me to him. But a lot of stuff he says is on the lines of what you say as well. You know, like your perception of the 3D, 4D, 5D. He's there with you on all that. And he talked a lot about sports and stuff. Like, obviously, you're quite passionate about your boxing and stuff like that. My granddad were a boxer back in the day, and he played for Leeds as well, Leeds Rhinos back in the day.
Yeah. Good,
and Greg said how important sports were. He said the protests and stuff, they were just looking for our anger and our fear, because that's what these people feed on. Whereas, you know, he wanted to tell people to get into sports, start getting active, do you know what I mean? Start exercising, start playing sports, rugby, football, boxing, do you know what I mean? And like, if you look at the youth of today, mate, they're totally broken. I mean, I seen the other day, 12-year-olds getting arrested for a murder, mate, you know what I mean?
This is slow indoctrination. Slow indoctrination, mate, the mind.
They need the sport, but the thing is, the media and the programming.
I like to hit the root. I like to hit the root of the problem, mate. So I explain why the root of the problem is the root of the problem and how to change it. So the building, yeah, the compactors into the cities, yeah. While they're doing that, they're taking away our children's playing areas, the outdoor playing areas, absolutely stripping them, yeah. So children go indoors only. The only way they can get to sporting activities if the parents have got money and time and they've got the energy to go do it. Now most parents are stressed and strained and they ain't got the time, the effort. They can't be asked. They're just telling these kids to just go playing computer games, listen to shitty music. Yeah. This shitty music is influencing their minds to the point where they hear it, they feel it, they see it, they become it, they act it, they say it, they reenact everything they see because that's learned behaviour. So what they're doing right now to our children is it's the ultimate indoctrination. It's the seeds that they're after, and they're trying to take away our innocence.
Eminem got me. Eminem talks about cutting yourself to see how much it bleeds. 13 years old, mate. I'm slashing all my arms to pieces to see how much it bleeds.
I used to listen to
Programming.
music, bro. Yeah, I used to listen to music, mate, and try and understand the words. I didn't listen to music. I was always very, very aware of the music I listened to, and I always used to sing songs. I'm a bit of a karaoke kid, me. People know me, might be on here. I just love to sing. So this is how they manifest in the world. This will blow people's minds on here, I would imagine, because it's all about words, and words are light, because words are sound, and sound is energy, frequency, vibration. So therefore, we are speaking light. We just don't see it because it doesn't speak it into our dimension. We can't see them words, but everything is energy, and every vibration can be seen at a certain frequency, certain level. So if you go to a big, massive, arena, and you go see a big, massive concert, and you've got these demonic people singing these demonic songs that have been pushed by the mainstream media of the main medias of the world, mainstream medias of the world, the corporate entities. So these people that are pushed to sing these songs, when people go to a big, massive concert and they're singing the songs they're singing, all the heart's going to rhythm. They actually show you on Trolls, they show you in films, they show certain things, but everyone's heart starts to bounce in rhythm. Now, not many people know this, but it's a big electromagnetic frequency, a big electromagnetic pulse that you're creating. Because when you're in love, or you're in a frequency of love, and you're at these concerts that you're loving, then you're creating that love frequency to create whatever you're speaking. So when you're creating the manifestations of the massive amounts of people in a big, massive concerts, singing and chanting these ritualistic words, realistically, with these 440 hertz as well, at a low frequency.
And you remember the gun fingers, putting the two fingers up, and it's to Pan. Do you know what I mean? When you look into it, it's symbolistic to Pan. They've taught us rock and roll symbols and devil symbols. They've taught us that.
Shows
well,
me.
Lucifer an angel of music, wasn't he? As well as the angel of light, he's also the angel of music. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I found out that quite recently, but this is what I mean. You know so much about the words. Like, you blow my mind with it, with the knowledge you've got about words. But it all makes perfect sense. Like you were saying about the Taurus and the heart fields and how it all interconnects, all these words. And it's probably once people realise the spell words and stuff like that, that's when their power over us is going to fall, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's definitely how they've got the power over of us.
Well, words create symbols, you see, because when you speak in that vibration, it's a geometric shape. So you speak in symbols, and you know about symbols. You do a lot of research on symbols. There's a symbol I've been looking at just lately. I've been looking at Mercury, the symbol of Mercury, which is a line across a circle, and then like a cup, or like arms of a devil.
Wow. Yeah, but, they get the kids with the mercury, don't they? In the jabs, that's what causes the autism, or said to cause the autism.
It is, mate. Yeah. Well, mercury is it's the heavy metal that makes you more dense, and the dense you are, the less light you are, the less high vibe you are, lower frequency, lower dense energy, denser vibration. The lower vibration you are, the more depressed you become, the more doubtful, more hateful, more hurtful. So they're trying to get you in the traumatic mindset, traumatic heart frequency, love frequency, or hate frequency, and then you can't manifest so easily. You're more of a hate, you're more destructive, you're creating bad things, you're manifesting bad luck, manifesting bad karmas. So the thing about the concerts is it's been a thing for many, many years now for concerts, and they're always trying to break records. A bit like when you're watching films and they get the blockbuster films. These blockbuster
How
films.
many people have watched it?
Yeah, like how many people have thought of the things and actually manifested in their minds the things they want to see. And now they've been smashing zombie films, they've been smashing these sci-fi films, they've been smashing alien films. They smash it that much that in their mind, we actually the creators of this world. Subconsciously, we create this world to a conscious level. So what we're doing here is we're creating our world on a fear frequency alone, because that's the overall state. I believe that we're going to split on the love and the hate frequency. The ones that are in love will go that way. The ones that are in guilt will still go down. You got to get rid of guilt, get rid of judgment, judgment of self. If you can judge yourself, you can judge others. Stop judging yourself.
Yeah.
You've done your things you've done. You did them for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I used to be my own worst critic my whole life, mate. I used to really pick on myself. I used to think I were a victim to myself. Do you know what I mean? And I've come a long way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm really thick skinned now. Nothing bothers me. Like you said earlier, like anyone can say anything to me. I'm not bothered. I'm on my path. I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, if I were doing it wrong, I'm pretty sure I'd be having some really bad karmas right now, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? So I'm obviously on the right path. I do. Everyone questions the judgment and the decisions and stuff like that. You won't be human if you didn't question it. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel comfortable and at ease in what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, in questioning yourself, bro, you're competing against yourself, because when you question yourself, you have to overcome that obstacle of doubt. So every day you question yourself, every day you're testing yourself, every day you're testing yourself, you're learning. Every day you survived another day, you get a present for the next day because you survived the last fucking day. And right now, surviving them days, we need them presents every day because fucking hell, we deserve them. So just keep spreading positivity, man. And, you know, obviously whatever you're doing that's keeping you positive, that's going the right way for you. I mean, it's going the right way for me, so I'm able to spread that positivity on. I mean, look, right, we've all got our crosses to bear, we've all got our things to share, we've got things to tell people that we need to sort out ourselves, and we'll get them done. But if we don't start to address it in ourselves first, and then start to understand that if we start addressing it to ourselves first, we can progress and move forward. Then we'll start to progress, and we won't start manifesting bad things in our minds, because doubt and TV and doubt of how the world's going to be tomorrow.
That's why the mainstream media do it, and there's a lot of like mainstream operatives in the movement at the moment, in the freedom movement, or well, it's all the movements in it. I guess they're all pretty much infiltrated a lot of these movements and stuff. But that's why you'll see them pumping out a lot of fear stuff, because they feed on that fear, but then they're also helping you manifest that negative reality, like you were just saying. That's why they do it. That's why it's always important to not end up in that lower vibration, stay above it, you know what I mean? Because then you're pumping out the lower vibration. You're bringing other people's vibrations up around you, do you know what I mean? And instead of that fear and the anger, what they feed on.
Well, they get them at a young age, really, children. They get them at a young age with the TV and the music, like Baby Shark, you know, and other songs, you know, the Beyonce songs, Disney's massive.
Symbolism in Disney is ridiculous, man.
Well, it's low vibe, you know, sexual activity is low vibe, especially, I mean, because, look, I might sound old-fashioned now, but I'm considering myself a bit of an older soul, so whatever people think, kiss my ass. I like to consider it making love now. I mean, to be honest with you, I've always been pretty good at doing it, so I prefer to do that than fuck, you know, fucking sex. Bullshit, man. Listen, make it special, man. Make it special. Make it more. Make it more of a tradition than a chore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I want
to for us to procreate. Really, that was just the thing. Wasn't it? And now it's become like a fashion accessory. Do you know what I mean?
It's meant to be a passionate interaction, and I always find that when it becomes that, it's so much more enjoyable, and it connects a lot better. Anyway.
It's hard though in today's age, because everyone's so programmed, mate. Do you know what I mean? The men and women are so programmed to not get on in harmony anymore. Like you said earlier about psyops on the psyops to break the family unit up. They're everywhere, mate, left, right, and centre.
Mate, and people are falling for them as well. Even right down on Facebook, getting messages for cam girls, or trying to get dick pics from men doing videos just to try and swindle them out of money or break them up. And
the thing is, people will be topping themselves over that stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? People will be topping themselves over that. If they're a weak person and they've got problems, do you know what I mean? Or they've got a family and they've got this and they've got that.
Yeah.
One innocent mistake that's costing someone their life. Do you know what I mean?
Best thing to do right now. So much. Best thing to do right now is treat your phone with respect, or treat your laptop with respect, or whatever you're using with your mobile devices, and look at everything you're doing and expect that your phone or your TV or your computer can attack you. Well, it's attacking you, isn't it? Because if it's an algorithm, then as soon as you push a button or click onto the next page, or you get a flash up of an ad, and it's something on there that's trying to throw an image to your mind or get you to think in a different way, then you are being attacked. But if you know if the trick's been done and how the trick is done, then the trick doesn't work anymore. So if you start to look at how things work in this sort of way, then you're no longer being played. Now we're playing the game, playing your own game. Can I just read some of these messages? Because some comments here, and I think it's really good for people. So, Solly Hall, I've got my mate Steve. Yes, bro, good jump on here. One of our Watchmen mates. He does a lot of good stuff right now. He's just want to put a bit of an idea with people who we're connecting with and who we're trying to help up and out of the swamp, because that's what we're in right now. We're in the fucking swamp, aren't we? Where they should be. So. Steve does like Clydal Silver, and try to help him out with a website that I'm going to be setting up. So he's got like a link on there, so people can get like natural products from the website that I'm going to be sorting out. Like a bit of like an encyclopedia or an index for knowledge and ways.
I thought silver were bad for us, because obviously they're spraying us with silver iodide. I've been told it's completely different, and colloidal silver rods in water as opposed to actual silver.
Well, it's like, you know,
I'm open-minded to stuff, man. If people just explain that to me, do you know what I mean, and how it works and stuff, I can understand it. But a lot of people just get angry and aggressive, and then I'm thinking, well, if you're not guilty, why are you being so angry and aggressive?
It's because they don't. If they don't understand, they don't know, and if they don't know the unknown, if they don't know the unknown, it scares them, and they don't like if someone else telling them what's right and what's wrong. Because if they've reinstated that they believe that their fact is fact, then when they get told that they're wrong, or they get proved that they're wrong, then they hold on to the belief still, because they don't want to be embarrassed. It's an ego thing.
That's it. I mean, I'm always over. If I've got something and I got it wrong, I want to be told, mate. I want to be educated. I want to know the truth. That's what we're here for.
Close minds, bro. Close minds.
You have to hold on to false beliefs. You know what I mean? Then you're not really here for truth, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Close minds, brother.
We're all just trying to get to the truth. That's
some people are reinforcing their security of the mind and the security of the reality they live in, because if they can reinforce the reality they're living in, which they're comfortable in, even though they're scared day by day, they don't know when the next paycheck's going to come. Most of them, I don't know if next week, you know, they could lose a job. They still don't want to let go of what they have got, because they don't know what's to come. And that's the scary thing for them as well, because, you know, we're trying to explain to people just how deep this is, and this is fucking deep. Yeah. You know, so to expect people to understand it in a breath is hard work. But if you speak to them in a certain way, in a subtle but confident and knowing sort of way, then it resonates, and that's when you're not teaching them. You're not being an instructor. What you're being is you're being someone that helps them resonate. You're just helping them. You're not doing anything. I mean, if I'm right with it, mate.
Seeds, aren't you? You're planting seeds that'll eventually sprout when they come across the corresponding information that matches up with what you
go, mate. There you go. And then the penny drops, and then they go, fuck. And then they can go on to the next phase and the next level, and that's how I see life right now. That we're just slowly but surely creeping, and I think that time's speeding up as well. I think that things and I think that things and events are starting to speed up more to the point where you just can't deny. And if you do deny,
can't say what's happening now. The amount of paedophiles and stuff that are getting locked up, and justice is coming. Like, the wheels of justice turn slow, but they are turning. That's the main thing. Yeah. These are things that we thought we'd never see in our lifetime, and now they're happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, the old guard's been destroyed. They're losing the power. It's like I said to someone the other day. Like, I've been awake probably most of my life, but I've always had to dumb myself down to fit into society. Whereas now I can just be myself, mate, because people are waking up to it. Do you know what I mean? People are seeing it. And the thing is, we can't go back to sleep now. Now we've got to this point. We can't go back. The amount of people that are awake now and want to fight for freedom, we can't go back from them numbers.
Well,
now that's it.
Well, we had the effort in the 70s, didn't we, with the peace and love and the hippie movement, and now we've got the modern day hippies now, we're the mippies. Yeah. So we're the mippie movement, so we can be the the M people. We got it for the future. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
The thing is, it's had to take people who've got checkered pasts, because we don't have the fear. Like, a lot of people are bogged down with the fear, and it's understandable unless you have been brutally broken, like some of us have. That it is.
What's the fear now? What's the fear now? What's the fear now?
I don't have none. I literally don't have none. It's like, even when I were at Media City and stuff like that, like, I'm not scared of anyone. I'd like I was saying to the police there when they were coming to get rid of us, I says, why don't you just one of us, me and you'll go in car park and have a one-on-one, and who wins, we've settled the dispute that way. Because that's how my granddad brought me up. Do you know what I mean? I feel like now it's just.
No one ever taught me that, bro. No, it is on me. No one ever taught me that, but I just like to be. I wanted to be, for some reason, like a man of old. You know, them sort of men that, like, an old school bloke that actually relied on principles and morals.
Gentlemen, though, weren't they? Our lost the way, mate. Gentleman. My granddad's a gentleman. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you heard him out in pub, he's different to when he's with my grandma. I've never heard the guy swear, but when I went on my stag do thing when I got married, you were a different side. I'd seen it with him. Do you know what I mean? But he's obviously been like that his whole life with rugby boys. Do you know what I mean? That's how he's
tough men. Tough
he's a gentleman,
man.
And he's always raised me to be a gentleman. He's always told me women and kids are the most important thing, and we're to take care of them. And it's always important to teach kids about, you know, the nature around us, the plants, the animals, the bee, everything. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, he taught me how to swim and everything. My mum and dad, they'd happily go around shopping centres, shopping all day. My granddad taught me everything. You know what I
mean? Well, the thing is, bro, we're meant to be survivors, and without being able to self-sustain, we're not surviving anything, are we?
No.
So, can I just... Can I just, sorry, mate, can I just do
Yeah.
some of these? I feel like a bit of a
Yeah,
shithead if
sorry,
I
mate.
don't, because you know what I mean. Like, no, but the thing is, but we can get some information from this. 'Cause
Yeah, no, I
it's
know.
pretty good. These,
Yeah, I
some
know.
of these people on here, the,
I
the, the
can't even
amount of
see
knowledge.
chat. I think I need to press something, don't I?
I don't know. Well, I'll just read out what some of it is. I don't know
Hopefully
if
it
you
won't
can.
go
So,
off.
would love to meet Smudger. Can imagine he was giving out good vibes. Oh, cheers, thank you, Christine. Chrissy, really appreciate that. The Bible says 2 paths at the end in a demonic system. A lot will fall by the wayside on the broad path. Small amount will take the narrow path. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, but savage. Yeah, the narrow path's the hardest path, but the hardest path is the best path because the hardest route is not always the route to avoid. Don't always go the easiest route. Easy is lazy and comfort is the killer. Next one, sorry, brother. A smile goes a long way. Yeah, smile definitely does go a long way. Our actions every day are watched by learning evil entities that throw obstacles in our way and bring us into their demonic fold. Yeah, fully. Okay, you've got some good scriptures here. That's me, mate.
There
Steve.
is. It's refreshing to hear so many awake people. It really is. Do you know what I mean? Like they just know, don't they? The people are waking up massively now. They just know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's if you're not seeing it now, then you're really going to have a really bad. Your head's going to pop when it happens. Your head's going to pop when things really start to appear. And I actually believe that it won't be long before we actually start to see things that people just can't imagine.
Can't comprehend.
Can't comprehend. Yeah. And that's when the brain's going to really, because that's. You see in films where people go, just fucking see something at the start.
Well, I think that's why everything's being done the way it is now, so slowly. Everyone's wanting it to happen now. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's been done so slowly because if they just dropped it on everyone tomorrow, half the population would just die instantly because shock can kill. It's one of the biggest killers, isn't it? Shock.
Yeah. Well, they say shock is an instant trauma that hits your body, hits your core, hits your nervous system, and your body doesn't know how to react to it. It's an intense energy of some sort.
That's why I froze when I went through what I went through. I froze solid. I used to be I looked after myself. I want a soft kid. Do you know what I mean? But when that happened to me, my abuse that I went through, I couldn't even get up to get him off me or do nothing, mate. I was frozen stiff because that's what shock does to you. Do you know what I mean? It takes over your body, doesn't it?
It was like an entity. It's an entity. It's like an entity.
It's like a brain injury, in it. I guess it's just pretty much similar because of what's happened to you. Is that traumatic? It's altered your brain.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I do believe that right now there's a lot of brainwave attacks happening with the 5G. I think there's a lot of people around. And a lot of my pals are suffering right now with the 5G. Now the 5G isn't a separate wave. It's to spread. It's to spread it. It's basically the 5G towers to spread it like a blanket.
Right. Yeah.
So
they've got magnets in, aren't they? They've got magnets in the towers.
Well, that's the thing. You see, we are magnets. We are magnetic. We are resonating frequency
beings.
Yeah. So I tried telling someone the other day, right? So this guy, I'm on my bike ride. A little bit of story of this. So I'm on my bike ride. I'm coming down the canals from bottom end of Leeds. Hunslet all the way around to Wakefield. But the canals, it's quite a long ride, so
I just done that on foot.
I fucking love it.
I went down to Hunslet and then I went to Castleford. I've been to Shipley. I've been all on foot with dog, mate. Some good walks in it. Carry on. Sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. So basically, I've been riding back, and I get to this little style to get over. So when I get over it, when I get over it, this guy, he's got a mountain bike, quite a fandango one. He's quite a big guy. And I always have a bit of a joke about the electric bikes. So you're cheating, aren't you? You know what I mean? Because I did when I did the barefooted stuff. Whenever I see people with chains on when I'm doing it, I'd say, "Oh, you're cheating, aren't you?" No, just obviously just a joke. And then I just try to have a bit of friendly banter with him. And he was without me knowing it, he was just fucking pissed off. And then he started giving me a lot of grief. "Oh, you're a fucking idiot, aren't you?" So what do you mean? You're a fucking idiot riding a downhill bike across here and doing this and that. It's just a downhill bike. And I went, "What are you on about, mate? So you just call me a fucking cheat?" I went, yeah. Well, I said, you know what? In fact, they kind of are because we're men, and a bit of manual labour, a bit of pushing yourself, a bit of heart rate increase, a bit of sweat. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So it quickly evolved, and he said to me, "I've got fucking cancer," and I went, "Right, okay then." So well, that there is damaging you. And he said, "Why?" Because it sends out electromagnetic frequencies that damage your DNA. I said it's actually a low emitting economical energy that damages your DNA as it sends out its pulses, as it sends out its magnetic frequency. And he went, yeah, you talk a load of fucking bollocks.
Well,
Fucking
I read the animal studies on that stuff, and it said about blood cancers, kidney cancers, and brain cancers were the most prominent in the rats that they tested the 50 gigahertz stuff at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's coming in. Well, cancer's
that's the thing. I spend a lot of time on my phone on my right hand here, yeah, and my lymph nodes are always raising up. Now that's a condition that can be caused by electromagnetic frequencies, which is why I'm having to take detox foods all the time. I'm having to detox my body and my blood all the time, mate. Spirulina, gotu kola, chaga mushrooms, calendula. I mean, the thing is, while I was at Media City, I learned lots about plant medicine.
We want to
I was getting it all wild. I had a little mess tin, and I just used to go and collect like chamomile, pine cones, lavender.
What an aluminium? You want an aluminium mess tin, was it?
Probably no. Like,
it's a joke, mate. It's a joke.
It probably will, mate. That's the thing. Beggars can't be choosers, can they, mate? That's the thing. That's the problem with it all. I mean, I distill my water.
Bro, hang on. Use your pockets, but then your pockets are infected with toxins with your inks. You know what I mean? It's It's mad. You know the best cloths to use is linen. Linen's the most positive material you can use. Linen. It's actually the best, linen. Anything else, if you mix linen with other materials, it actually damages you. Or doesn't damage you, sorry. It pulls your vibration down. It pulls you into low frequency.
Well, I think all our clothes, I think they don't help with our body. You know, like how everything's got tight things in it. Because obviously it's restricting your lymph nodes, which your lymph nodes obviously move around, and it's to help you, sweat the toxins out and everything. So when you've got socks on, and boxes with elasticated waist and thingies with elasticated waist, you're always like blocking your blood supply off, aren't you? That's why they used to wear robes in the olden days, like sackcloths. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, loose. Yeah, because
the thing is, you're not like restricting all your lymph nodes and stuff.
We're desensitizing ourselves, and as we're wearing these clothes, we're actually eradicating hairs. It'd be like when a baby's born and it's rubbing its head against the cloth all the time. It gets like a baby bald spot at the back. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? When rubbing constantly, eventually your body starts to realise that it don't need that hair anymore. It's getting protection via or something else. Don't use it, you lose it. If you don't need your air because you're not being free with your body, then you lose it. We have been de-evolved. We've not actually evolved in any way, shape, or form. We've de-evolved. So when wearing this stuff, it's also I spoke about this. I spoke about all this, mate. Fucking hell, I'm deep on that stuff. So it's a case of figuring out just how we can change it. I mean, hemp can actually eradicate a lot of things, including plastics. It can eradicate a lot of metals and plastics.
Fuel and everything. We could have everything. We could build houses off hemp. I read about it before. It can compress it into blocks. You can make, and it's insulated blocks.
You can burn it, bro. You can burn it, and nothing happens. They're fully insulated. Mate, listen, the stuff is absolutely amazing. It's a plant of life.
That's why they made it illegal. Because of obviously all the uses and the medical uses of it all, and they're still even now. One minute they're going to legalise it, next they're bringing studies out saying it causes heart attacks and it causes this and that.
They're trying to counteract it.
Because they know Big Pharma would just go, and not just Big Pharma, everything would go, like big construction and everything would lose so much because we won't be mining, we won't be getting all these materials anymore because we could just grow it. And do you know what I mean? The amount of money that's it.
Yeah. But like I say, bro,
Big Pharma would go bust. A lot of construction would go bust. It would.
Do you know what? Do you know about? You must know about Big Pharma.
Mm-hmm.
You understand about the concept that they actually create the foods that give you the diseases and issues that you need for the tablets to cure, or don't cure the mask, and then create the So the reason it happened is because John D. Rockefeller and his little cronies realised that petroleum is highly addictive, and it can be used in a lot of different ways and applied to a lot of different elements. To obviously change its substance, its results, its intent, and he figured out that if you could get rid of natural plant medicines which are freely found around the Garden of Eden, then you could quite clearly monopolize. So that's what he did. He monopolized. He started to put out a propaganda campaign and stated that this stuff's not actually any good, and witches aren't any good neither. And I'm just putting an idea about things. So what happened was we used to be alchemists. We used to be chemists of our own, of our own properties around us. What we had, of our environment. Yeah, of our environment. So what's happened here is the people of the areas that were using this stuff, the products, they were sent off to wars, and whilst they were off at wars, you got famine. You couldn't farm the lands, and you couldn't farm the lands. You started to get produce in. The produce that come in was all preserved, so it lasts longer. This is the tale of the tape. They've indoctrinated us slowly from the root, from the seed. Then they start to give us our seeds back at our farms, and they give us our seeds back, but they give us back of them damaged. I've had to pay for them. And then we've had to pay for the land that we've had to sell to get them seeds, and so on and so forth. And it's just one big perpetual cycle of hatred and fear and loathing and jealousy and bitterness. So I think the way we stop this is start to realise that
the Rockefellers, not only with the oil, they've took it through the colleges and the universities as well.
Yes, well, that's what I'm saying. What we need to do now as a not just a race of white or black or Asian, any sort of colour. We're all colour brown. Is we need to just completely stop with the medication, because even though the medication might be helping you now, if you can just get through that pain barrier with a little bit of help here, a little bit of help there, go research holistics, go research,
I'm
natural medicines.
Had a lot of experience with medicines.
There you go.
I'll tell you about it now. Like, my diet wasn't very good. I used to eat a lot of processed shit. I was really unhealthy, and I used to have stomach problems all the time. Now, I think what led to the stomach problems is I triple fractured my ankle playing football, and while I was recovering, they put me on morphine, really high, strong codeine and stuff, which I got addicted to.
I was on that diodricodine.
Yeah, and then they also give me
tramadol,
pep indicators, which are supposed to protect your stomach, but if you actually look into them, they actually destroy your stomach. So they give you these alongside painkillers. They say they protect your stomach. Like I say,
to get rid of the pain. To get rid of the pain whilst it's damaging you.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? So, but yeah, the NHS, I've seen not but I told you, didn't I, about I thought I had a baby that were mine, 9/11.
Yeah.
2020.
There's loads, man. There's loads of synchronicities happening right now. Yeah. I've been researching me. I've had other people researching themselves, and I'm promising you, it's like a trove of knowledge. You start to think to yourself, am I that insignificant? No, I can't be, because there's things that just don't they can't marry up like that. There's no such thing as coincidence in my eyes. Not when you start to look at dates and reasons as to why, and lessons, and even names, people that you know in your life, and the reasons why you know them, and just look at it from a different way, a different point of view, and it just fucking blows your mind. You're like, how the fuck did I not see this?
Your life for lessons, don't they? They come in, and some people come in, they totally destroy your life, tip it upside down, but that's being done because it's building you as a person.
Make you stronger, make you stronger. Yeah, so this is a message to people actually who are actually watching this now. I don't know if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on here, but I'd say that don't hate the person that taught you the lessons. Don't hate the lesson you're being taught. Don't hate yourself. Just understand that the lesson was given to you. The lesson was given to you. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And when it happens for you, it's for you to not have that regret. It's for you to just keep walking on and just understand that whatever you could learn from that, learn from it. And let it go, because if you don't let it go and you're holding on to it, you're going to start creating anxieties for the future. You'll start creating the thing that happened in the past. You always think that could happen again. If you keep thinking that could happen again, then you start to manifest that happening, and you get anxieties.
You know what's really funny? I'll tell you about the NHS thing, because the child's mother, before she were in labour, she used to constantly say, "Oh, I might die in labour," and I'll be like, "Don't say that, because you might manifest it." Well, then look what happened. So they asked me to cut the cord in the hospital. Yeah, I wouldn't cut the cord because obviously I knew it's not supposed to be cut. So they cut it, left part of a placenta inside her. So then she nearly bled to death. Yeah, while she was dying on the bed, bleeding to death, she ended up having to have a blood transfusion. A nurse came in, took the baby, asked if they could give him a vitamin K shot. So at that point, I said to her, obviously Jess agreed, but she wanted to know fit state to agree. You know, when they always go on about mental capacity. Well, she wanted no fit state to give, permission. But so she's picked the baby up. She's going to give him that, and I said, "Well, what about? It's got a black box warning label on it." So she goes,
Yeah.
oh, what's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
So you've got a midwife in a hospital giving drugs to a baby, and they don't know what a black box warning label is, mate. So she told me. So I told her. I said it can cause sudden death, severe injuries, severe illnesses. And she goes, "Oh no, we give it to babies all the time and just jabbed him there and then on the altar." Do you know what I mean? It's you can see right there the sacrifice with the
It's
altars and
demonic,
stuff.
bro.
Can't
Bro,
you?
it's you're born into bondage. We're literally
But
born into
yeah,
bondage. These phrases are not phrases that just throw around lightly. They actually mean
oh,
what they're
yeah,
saying, you know. And the first thing they do, like we said, they learn about the umbilical cord. We'll speak about that. You know, this thing that they cut instantaneously as soon as they can is your lifeline, is your immunity, is your is full of nutrients. It's got a tree of life on it, for fuck's sake. You know what I
I
mean?
think
It
that's why
actually
a
looks
lot of
like an
babies
eye.
end up with like Down syndrome and brain injuries at birth because they're
It
losing
is.
their oxygen and everything. When they, do you know what I mean?
It's not
And
just
then
that. Yeah.
sudden
Well,
impact.
bro. Think of it, the root of it again, yeah? Where do we get oxygen from for our babies to survive? We get it from the air that they're spraying.
Yeah,
So, you know, these babies are getting damaged at seed, and they're trying to take away our innocence. They're trying to take away our innocence at the seeding of life. So they're trying to take away our seed. So bear in mind, mate, seed is life.
yeah,
Without seed, you don't have life, yeah? And why do you think that all the fruit right now, most of it, the good stuff, the seeds either taken out or
yeah.
damaged, yeah?
Even seeds
Because
to treat
seeds...
cancer.
Well,
Some
seeds are
of them.
geometry, aren't they? If you look at
Yeah,
seeds, they've got geometry, and inside them is it's like light. Until you open it up, obviously, as soon as you open it up, you won't see it. It's too fast for your eye to see. But geometry creates light, and that thing there is full of energy. It's a
mm-hmm.
bit like when sperm, which is a positive energy. So sperm is alkaline,
Yeah,
like a battery. When it hits the egg, there's a flash, a pan of black light, and that's the chemistry of melanin. So we are light coming from dark.
mm-hmm.
So that's how life is, black and white,
Yeah.
up and down,
It's like
duality.
the plants in themselves, like they take the energy from the sun. Do you know what I mean? So it's clean energy you're getting. Do you know what I mean? It's not being tampered with when you get an organic
Yeah.
fruit and stuff like that. But I've noticed a lot now they try to do seedless stuff out there, which obviously you shouldn't have seedless stuff. It should
No,
have seeds.
no.
They're
Well,
doing all this
well,
GMO stuff. I mean, I noticed they're even putting
that's what's
graphene
damaging the
oxide
children's minds.
graphene
That's what's
oxide
damaging
on,
the
on
children's minds.
packaging of food, on packaging. So
Yeah. Wow.
I noticed I had some chilies in a bag, you know what you get from Morrison's or whatever, in a bag of chilies. And I noticed that the ends of the chilies had this black powder on them, but it wasn't mold. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
must have come from the. And while they're sat in the bags, they're absorbing what they're wrapped in, aren't they? So they're getting the graphene oxide inside the cells of the veg or fruit or whatever you're eating.
Bro, it's
I've
very
started
dangerous,
planting a
graphene
lot of
oxide.
stuff now myself because I'm, as much as we all go to supermarkets for a bit, I really want to get as much of it grown at home as I possibly can. If I could get an allotment, mate, I'd probably get an allotment. Do you know what I mean? But it's bad how they're
Yeah.
coming up for us in every way: water, air, food. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to keep good in it. Yeah, I'm on spirulina.
Yeah.
Yeah, spirulina is a brilliant one to flush every metals
Yeah.
out of your body. It's also really good for your pineal gland as well. So I take
Well,
that like every day.
anything that can decalcify your pineal gland is amazing because your pineal gland is literally part of your memory. It's the thing that holds frequencies that it's like a conduit of information as well because it resonates, and if a
Mhm.
crystal resonates and vibrates, it holds vibration, and vibration is light. So it
Yeah.
literally holds your memory.
Check that, bro.
Um,
I've got this by my side. Look, this quartz naturally raises vibration and said you could melt ice with it because its vibrations are so high.
yeah, I've got all my stuff here. You got to give money. I've got all ones around my neck and that.
It's
Now
not like
people might not
people
believe
say
in
you're
that
not
stuff.
supposed to worship crystals and all that, but we don't worship in the tools to help you. Do you know what I mean? Or navigate on this earth. Do you know what I mean? Like everything, like the sun, the moon, the stars, we're not supposed to worship it. It's their tools. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
things are in, when the skies, the constellations are in certain places. That's how we know what time and dates years ago on the constellation, don't they, on the patterns. But
Well,
your theory on all that, what you told me earlier, though, was pretty good. You know what I mean? This
I
is
was
what I
just
mean.
about to
You're gonna have
speak
to
it.
drop that because, like when you said that earlier, it really resonated with me. So if you can just
I've,
drop
I
that
think, I
again,
think,
what you said earlier.
I think I spoke it before on another. It might be on another live. I don't know if it was live. It might just been speaking to another pal on a random call. But I see the medium of travel for light or for sound as the road. Now, if the road's bumpy, or toxic, intoxicated or damaged, then it won't travel as fast, it won't travel as smooth, it won't travel as quick. So when you're shining light through murky waters, because it's got dirt and crap in there, it doesn't. It reflects and refracts when it hits parts, and it becomes more murky and distant. But also, it takes longer to get to you, the light as well. And that's because obviously light has to travel through a medium. Now above us, I believe, and anyone wants to prove me wrong, then you have to go up there and prove me wrong, just like I have to go there and prove you wrong. But my belief is my belief. So spiritually. So above me, above us, above everybody is water. Water is consciousness, and we are literally hydrogen. Everything's hydrogen to a degree. Obviously, if we are everything else, but water is the thing that makes things move. It's the fluidity. It'd be like water flow.
Yeah.
So the water above us is kept above us through frozen hydrogen, which is too cold to move. It creates a bubble above us, and above that is water. Now above that is vibrational frequencies, and a vibrational frequency creates light. Like I said, sound is creating light, because without sound you don't have vibration. So literally everything is sound, everything is vibrating at a sound frequency. Yeah? So these lights, these bright stars above us in the water, are like stars in a jar, and the stars in a jar are vibrating at a frequency that is then getting cooled down by the very water surrounding it. So it's like fusion, like nuclear fusion. So these vibrational frequencies then traveling at a certain speed, slower speed than the speed of light should be in this environment of oxygen, which is easier to travel through. So this light is traveling through water, which is the denser medium, and when it reaches the dome system, it hits a focal point. Now that focal point is the projector, is the source of life, of light, of energy. Bear in mind, sound and light is everything, and therefore that sun is just holding the frequency and vibration of the grounds below. So when it projects onto us.
Gregory Hallett actually said that the Earth is actually a holographic universe. That's what he said.
Yeah, we are with a vibrational frequency.
It's what you're saying. This is what I mean. Like I speak to people all the time, but there's not many people that speak about Greg. But I've done a lot. I didn't just listen to what everyone had to say about Greg. I did my own research. Do you know what I mean? And I went back to years ago. His really old stuff where he's done notes and stuff like that on what he's done there. But speaking to you today, and the things that you said resonate so much with things what Greg said to me. And like I say, all the coincidences that have happened to me, do you know what I mean? That's what's kind of sent me our way. And it makes sense to me. Thing is, a lot of people are tied up in religious beliefs. You know what I mean? Luckily I wasn't born into a religious family. I wasn't born.
Believe in it though.
I've been guided to all different, things. I've read parts of the Quran. I've read parts of the Gita. I've read parts of the Bible. I've read it.
Right, okay. I mean? Can I put a spin on it? Can I put a spin on it? Can I put a deep spin on it for you?
Yeah.
You ready? So if it was written in the stars, and we are just a projection of the stars, and everything that's happening right now is a book, and we're casting our spells like the book's asking us to, and we're basically following suit now. We're following the scripture. Yeah. So literally, if the stars write the books, then whatever happened in the books happened in the stars. Just like the sun going through Virgin Mary, Virgo above us, the star sign Virgo is Mother Mary. That is part of the story of the book of the Bible. Just like the three kings up in the north. Yeah. The Pleiades, the Pleiadians. Ryan. So every single scripture of the Holy Scriptures, including the Quran and all the other ones, have all been stories of things that happened on Earth, but they were stories that were all predicted. There were predictions. There were predictive text.
That's what Greg said again. He said it were a book of prophecies and predictions as opposed to what to live your life by. And look,
but they got changed, so we lost.
Aggression and isolation religion causes. Do you know what I mean? It's like you disagree with someone who's got strong religious beliefs. They will isolate you. They'll cut you off. And they won't show you no love, mate. Do you know what I mean? None at all. Whereas like a lot of us what say that we've got like new age beliefs or whatever. We're all about love, man. Do you know what I mean? We are about love and we're about positivity. Do you know what I mean? And trying to manifest a positive outcome. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so that means that whatever frequency you're on right now is a frequency.
United though, in it with the belief system, especially the religious, because of the indoctrination there. But again, it's like when we've been at school being indoctrinated. Religion,
but you don't have to, brother.
Its own level of indoctrination.
But you see, when you say that, we don't have to at all, because when they come, they will come. Whatever's going to happen now is going to happen. We just got to enjoy it and experience the experiences we wanted to experience. So the book thing is this. every so many thousand years. I think we have like 6,000 year epochs or something like that. It has to be. We have to have intervals. Like days have 24 hours, and months have so many days. We have to have epochs of years, be it fucking 6,000, 20,000 years, 24,000 years. And I believe we're in like the third or fourth epoch, the fourth or the end of the generational or the the eras like the hang on like we're going into like the golden era, but we're speeding up. So if that's the case, then we're at the end of times. We're like 2 minutes or a minute to midnight, waiting for the fucking explosions, for the fireworks, for the end. Yeah. So if that's the case, then we are the final book of the Christians. We are his story. Now, what is his story? His story is the book of the man. And the book of the man is the book before the prehistory, and prehistory is the scaly people. The scaly people are the lizards, the ones that can shapeshift, the ones that were the most advanced of their race in the prehistoric times. Now, prehistoric times means prehistory or prehistora or prehistorical field. No, prehistorical field, pre his heart that creates the frequencies of love or hate. So the prehistoric people evolved into our world to create our adversary, because like every slug has every lettuce has a slug, every spider has a fly, every fly has a spider. We have to have an adversary, but our adversary on a whole grand scale of it is the first, and they are the first root race of the lizards, the dinosaurs. Saws means lizards. So they brought their frequency of the 1 and the 2-dimensional frequency through here, which is what? Graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is a 2-dimensional frequency on a black hole. It's a black hole.
Well, it is black goo.
Yeah, black goo. Yeah, it's black. It absorbs light. What it is when you put a frequency through it.
Like, if you noticed a little while back, people were putting blood of a healthy person, blood of someone who had been vaccinated, and it were really black and dark. There were less white blood cells, and white blood cells fight infection, don't they? And it's light.
Well, they're God. But God is God in it. White blood cells, God.
But what they're doing now is they try to get people's bodies overtaken with that graphene oxide, which is dark matter.
Yeah.
Darkness.
Well, this is the black hole, you see. So a 2-dimensional frequency or a 1-dimensional frequency will only try and suck anything it can from above. It's going to, you can only pull something down if you're below it. So this black 2-dimensional frequency and 1-dimensional frequency wants to hold you into its one cell, its single cell organism. It wants to put you in its cell so you can't escape. It wants to put you in a box, a square. And what is a box? When you get into a box and you unfold the box, you get a crucifix. And that's where our sin lies. If you want to take the sin, then take the sin. You'll go into the box and you will stay in there for the end of time. Anyway, moving on. I get deep. Sorry, I do apologize.
When you word it like that, it makes it look so simple. Because the thing is, with everything out there, it's so hard to directly talk to people, and like with information. Do you know what I mean? But when you talk about it, it just makes sense. Perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff, I'll read it and I'll listen to people, and it just don't resonate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it well? The resonation right now is getting stronger.
For the Quran, don't they? They pray to the box. I've
been in
churches, because I've done a lot of work in the building trade, and I've been in like old churches and stuff before, and again they've got like a big box with water in it. Yeah, they've got a big
I tell you why. This is what I believe. I believe right now, mate. This is my belief system. Like I say, you can question me all you like, but I believe that the Quran, the Book of Muhammad, was there was a generation or civilization that was taken over, like the fall of Atlantis, like the fall of Lemuria, like the fall of the Hyperboreans. These people were taken over by the first root race, which are the lizards, and their god is Satan, because their god is a previous dimension, which is the lowest of the low, which is the first dimension of the darkest of the dark. The planet is red, but it's not red. That's just a color vibration that creates a fear notion within the mind. But you see, the people that are not in charge of the world, but we pay to take over the world, are the Jesuits, the Zionists. They're very demonic and non-empathic people. They've got no empathy. They don't have that in their DNA. It's not part of who they are. So if you was to look at like the way in which we progressed for the masonry, well, it's free masonry. And when you get to the 33 degrees of masonry, you get to the back of the skull, the back of the neck, the top of the neck, and that's where you get your claustrum. Well, that's when you get Christ consciousness of Jesus. He lived to 33. So when he got to 33,
33 vertebrae in your back, aren't you? Which fits with Jacob's ladder. You put your pineal gland, which is like your essence in it. And once it's because they're from the day we're born, they're calcifying that pineal gland, aren't they? So until that you unlock that calcium, you're not reaching the higher levels of consciousness. But when your pineal's calcified,
The thing is,
once
the
you,
thing,
you start feeling it, once you start taking like I'm on the spirulina and the
yeah,
growth
get all that stuff
now,
out.
and that it unblocks that pineal gland. So
You
everyone
start
goes
to
on
see
about like
things.
IQ and levels of intelligence. I don't think anybody is particularly more advanced than others. I think it's
Nah,
more to do with how much
memory.
poison and stuff's in the body.
Nah,
I
yeah, I
mean,
believe that, but it's
and the
also depending on how
programming as
much you.
well.
Yeah, it all depends on how much you can read verbatim and spew back out, and for them to put a tick against your name and tell you you're smart. That depends on how much IQ you've got. Also, they do these little tests and that, but that's
Yeah.
just to see just how your mind's working, if this side's connected to this side and vice versa. Someone just put in the comments about fables, old texts and fables. I actually believe that most texts that are out there, most stories that have been, in fact, everything that's ever been seen, ever been thought of, has happened, because every thought creates another universe, another dimension, another reality. That everyone's minds that splinter every second of every day create another dimension. Because a thought is something that happened. Because a thought is a vibrational frequency of the world that you live in at that perception at that time.
It's like
So
dreams and visions as well. They're all connected out there to the same thing.
yes, so fables and things that have been written, anything that's ever entered the mind is something that ever happened.
Yeah.
How does it enter the mind? How does something just think of something from nowhere? It doesn't. Something doesn't come from nothing. Just like
It has to
intelligence
trigger it,
didn't come
don't
from
it?
nothing. Intelligence was always here, but
Yeah.
intelligence had to advance. It had to learn emotion. But you see, intelligence didn't come from nothing. Intelligence doesn't appear.
Yeah.
Intelligence has always been here. The knowing of everything has always been here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, kids are way more spiritually in tune than we are. They just know because they're innocent and you know what I mean. And
Yeah, yeah,
they've not gone through any of the trials and tribulations like we have. Do you know what I mean? But kids just know. Like I've got a little angel light bracelet here. I got it at Media City. Someone gave me it. It's really weird because apparently it
yeah,
helps connect with the angels. And I looked and it said it were founded in 1989. Well, that's when I was born. I was born in 1989. So I thought, well, that's good.
yeah. Because
But
yes, man.
my ex is young and she obviously asked about what's that on my arm, and I told her, and then I saw her about 2 months later, and she went, "Oh, that's your angel's bracelet?" Do you know what I mean? Like they just knew, just remembered, and stuff like that. But it's
Yeah.
like with the drawing stuff and like that. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I used to draw stuff, and you think, well, where's that come from? Where's that idea come from? Is it
Yeah,
past
yeah. Well,
memories? Is it past
the,
memories from past lives, or
I
it's
think that's
weird,
a
isn't it?
damage. I think they damage our children's imaginations by feeding them the imaginations that they want them to see. You know, if
Yeah.
they,
CD
imagine if you put a
program.
child, yeah, imagine right, putting a child into a room of just blank, nothing in there, yeah, for the first time. I mean, obviously seeing the things it's seen around the world, you know, seeing nature. Be going into, if it went into a room with nothing in there when it first went to school for its first year, if you just blanked everything and put some paints in there, different colours, and just said, "Listen, kids, go in there and go and let loose and enjoy yourself and just be creative, yeah, without seeing all the shit that get put in there, right? Bear in mind, this is an indoctrination of the mind with the children at school,
Yeah,
but designed by John D. Rockefeller. So
yeah,
when they see a rainbow, they see the peace symbol. When they see the LGBT, they see the peace symbol. When they see LGBT, they also see equality and diversity. When they go to school, they see equality and diversity. When they go to school and they're asked all the time, they're happy. When they see the equality and diversity, they see gay. Gay is now associated with being happy because it always has been, but it's
yeah,
been
yeah. Well, that's
forgotten.
what we
But
always
it's
used to say as kids at school, didn't we?
but
We
it's
used to
never
ring out
been,
gay,
yeah,
and then when it got took as an offensive, we're
yeah,
like, "What do you mean? It means happy."
yeah, yeah. There you go, mate. I remember it
Yeah, yeah.
changing at school. I remember it changing at school. I
Mm-hmm.
actually remember being at school and
Yeah.
someone saying about bumming. I was only in fucking primary school. Must have been
I
about 5 years
know.
old. I remember someone on about bumming in primary school. I remember a
We are
boy come up
taught.
to
The
me,
thing is, we
bro.
taught things too young.
Oh, bro. I remember being
That's
at
why I
school at
always
the
spent a lot
playground,
of time
like,
at Media City because we wanting to teach 4-year-olds how to
yeah,
masturbate and that. And I just thought, like, what? And plus the numbers of missing kids and everything else, it's obvious why they're doing that, why they're wanting to teach the kids sordid behaviours and
yeah,
that to make it easy for them to do the
yeah,
paedophilia stuff.
yeah, yeah, got
Do
you.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, it
I
is
see how it's going now, mate.
else.
That plus is for the P. The LGBT plus is for the
Yeah.
P. They're
Well, I
just
want to
waiting
bring
to
out minor
indoctrinate now.
attracted persons and changing them to paedophiles. I mean, it's all going on in the States now with that woman
Mm,
who Biden's picked. And she was
yeah, she's
asked,
been getting grilled, hasn't she? Been getting grilled, hasn't
yeah,
she? She's
yeah.
getting grilled.
But I mean, the
Saying as a
sentence, I mean, if you
victim.
look in the UK, I mean, in America, a lot of these child predators and stuff, they get proper sentences. None of this fucking 2 year suspended sentence and shit like we get here. Do you know what I mean? They get proper sentences. And jail over there is not like here, is it? I've been to jail here. down the block were probably a bit rough for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it did
Yeah,
sort me head
so
out.
by
But that's
yourself,
what
yeah.
jail in America's like, down the block in it constantly. Do you know what I mean? Whereas here, if
Mm,
you're on a normal wing and that, and you got your TV and you're getting all your stuff, and do you know what I mean? It's not really a punishment, is it? Really, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? There's lads that I
no.
know that will happily get out of jail and then be back in within 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And they love jail life.
Yeah, it's a way of life, and it's they're institutionalized. I
Yeah,
when I got out of
and
jail,
pedos
mate,
get protected in there. They get special wings. They
mm,
get their own wings. Do you know what I mean? It's so
special
wrong.
food,
And the kids that
special this. Yeah,
they've abused, they've got a lifelong of either drug and alcohol addiction
it's
and trauma. Do you know what I mean? To come through, like myself,
you know what,
the
bro?
years I want a nice person. I was projecting my anger of what that lad had done to me while I'm drinking, boozing. I mean, I've got like 30 convictions, me, but I'm not an aggressive, nasty person. Just used to get pissed and do stupid shit. Do you know what I mean? And
Mm.
run my mouth a bit. Do you know what I mean? Get arrested for public disorders and stuff like
You
that.
had
And
you had
few
vices,
assaults and
you had
yeah, I
things
mean,
that you
got
tried to
a
bury.
few things with cars and stuff like that, but I was never the one trying to take these cars. I was just the one who wouldn't grass on others and just got caught. Do you know what I mean? And take for the
Yeah.
team. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't grass on people. So yeah, I mean, I've not been locked up now for like over 10 years. If not, like obviously what happened in London, that's
Same with
different.
me.
I
I
didn't
yeah.
get charged with it. I didn't get done with it. So I did get arrested
I've
in
not.
London, but charges
I'm on.
over 10 years now.
Well, I'm same, mate. Well, I've actually just been bailed. I'm on bail for stalking. Don't worry, I'm not a stalker.
Oh,
I
mate,
don't think
the thing is, it's obviously this is all to do with the programming of man versus woman, in it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's mate. Yeah, well, it's one of the ultimate
They divide us by
battles, isn't it?
race, religion,
It's the
football
ultimate battle. Yeah,
teams,
yeah, it's the ultimate battle, brother. It's the ultimate
sexes.
battle. Well, the thing is, mate, if they can divide the sexes, they stop the procreation, stop the procreation. Well, they stop everything, don't
A lot of families
they?
did that. My
And
grandma and
and
granddad
and
have loads of brothers and sisters. Now they
if you
don't.
if you haven't produced and you can't produce, you're practically dead
Yeah.
because you're a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You if you can't keep your lifeline going, your bloodline, then you essentially cannot pass on your experiences, because your bloodline carries your it actually carries your talent.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
bloodline
Well,
carries
that's
memory.
yeah. Through the bloodlines from your family and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
and that's why they keep their
Tell
bloodlines
you about
pure because they
bloodlines, won't they,
understand
with
that.
O&A and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So we I mean, I've heard of stories where people have had full blood transfusions and the characters changed.
Yeah, because you've got someone else's blood in you. That's kind of what
Yeah.
happened with Cole's mum. Do you know what I mean? We were sweet in that hospital, mate. We left that hospital, then I wasn't allowed to see a kid anymore. Do you know what I mean? She won't let me go up to see a kid. It got nasty, mate. But this was straight after we'd got out of hospital. But before that traumatic birth, me and her were sweet, man. Me, her, and the baby were all fine. The DNA test and everything come because I wasn't seeing the kid. I had to go get a court DNA test so I could see my kid. You know what I mean? That's how I ended up finding out that apparently he won't mind. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
I know it was one of them, mate. Like obviously we were smack banging the COVID stuff as well. So I
It's
did
got to
have
be
enough
kicking the
to keep
bollocks, that mate.
going with it, so I didn't have a breakdown. But it was rough. Don't get me wrong, it was
But
rough. And
yeah, it's got to
there's
be
a lot of
kicking the
this
bollocks, that
happening
mate.
now. It's all the
I had a
divide.
mate. I had a pal over in Hull that went through this. The girl actually said that she was pregnant. She faked the pregnancy right up until the last maybe 3-4 weeks. She wasn't showing and he didn't ask a question, and he got to the point where his dad was going to take her to the hospital for an appointment to see about the baby, and said something about they're going to break the waters in a few weeks because they think they need to. And then it turned out she just come out with one day, I ain't really pregnant. So this lad had been hoping and jumping for joy, waiting for this baby to arrive, just absolutely destroyed him. And I just thought, how the fuck can someone have the audacity to do
No
that to
empathy,
someone?
mate. Soulless beings. That's it's got to be. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's people out there that are just under the spell of the programming and everything around them. But then there's the soulless beings, the ones that literally do not have any empathy whatsoever, no thoughts into their actions and how their actions affect others. Nothing. Like literally,
Yeah, mate.
there's no soul. It's like they've got no soul. Do you know what I mean? Soulless beings.
Well, the souls, yeah. They're just part of the program.
Making up the
I just want to
numbers.
do a shout out. I just want to do a shout out to
Yes,
Chrissy on here. She's no, it's fine. Just want to do a shout out to Chrissy on here. She used to do decoying for online predators, to catch them, and now she's one of the main.
for that job. Shout
Mate,
out to
brilliant.
doing that job, man.
Yeah.
Off the streets, because I've actually got a friend. She's doing it herself, and the stuff that
Well,
she gets.
she coaches up now. She coaches them up. She coaches them up. So it's a fucking huge job. It's a very very un un unthanked job, really, to a degree where you don't get that praise 24/7. I think you should get praise for that every day. You should wake up with people going, listen, you are the fucking boss.
I bet these
You are
people, I bet
amazing.
they do know what they're doing, and should have some pride in themselves, because what they're doing is amazing. They are the line between our kids, and because the police, I mean, they're only interested in crimes that involve money. That's all they're bothered in. I mean, it's what I mean when you've got 70,000 kids going missing in lockdown and it's not on news, you're not hearing about it. Do you know what I mean? You just know they're all involved in it. Do you know what I mean? Because the decoys are actually catching members of parliament, people off Facebook.
Well, that's why they hate them, innit? That's why they hate them. But they get some coppers that see what they're doing, they don't like them, and you see a lot of police that don't like it because there's a lot going on. It's a cult. So they met equally with good and bad police, but sometimes you get the good cop bad cop situation, and I can imagine that it causes a lot of friction. Stuff like that, it's amazing. This will probably stir a few minds now, and I'll say this because I believe in the programs to the deep, in a sense of I believe that programs are put into these people, and it's a weakness. It's a weakness in the soul, but it's also a trauma within them as well. I think that our children are shown so much sexual activity and sexualization as children, to the point where as they get older, they become very promiscuous. They become very very, how can I put it, adult type. They want. I mean, I seen a video not long back
where
there was
an
a
adult
woman.
at a young age.
Yeah. But also the parents do it. The parents also do it. The parents want them to be grown up. They want to show them that look how responsible they are. Look at how responsible they are. No. Listen, they don't need to be responsible like that just yet. You certainly don't need to be saying to them, listen, you go get some makeup on.
They're going to be having fun. They're going to be eating dirt, playing out.
There you go, yeah. So the weakness is this, brother. When some men get lonely and some men can't get it, or some men are finding themselves doubting themselves that they can't do this, they can't do that. And listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not giving anyone any get out of jail free card. I'm certainly not saying I agree with it. But what I am saying is this: there's a choice, and when you've stepped your foot in the dirt just a little bit and you realise you've done wrong, then and if you go and do the same shit again, I'm not saying you shouldn't ever do it once, not ever. But what I'm saying is, if you ever did and you do it again, that's definitely you being that person. Yeah, that's who you are. But you see, if you make a mistake because you've been a weak person and you do take your punishment, then you take your punishment. Obviously, you're going to be watched. You're going to be watched fair play. But you see, these people, they are programmed to the point where, because they're needy, because a man has needs and a woman has needs. No, it's not just men. Obviously, it's women as well. That this happens. This happens to the point where the lust and the want of something, of some sort of attraction, becomes too much for them to even resist. And because I see people not getting big sentences, because I see people not getting massive amounts of backlash, or they get protected because the system shows they're protecting them, they just think, you know what, fuck it, I did it once, do it again, or I'll just try it because what they're going to do to me. And this is what they're doing. This is how it works.
That lad who abused me, I didn't go to police and that, mate, because to me, I didn't feel like dragging it through courts and all that would benefit me. Do you know what I mean? But I heard him. He messaged me. I've not spoken to this kid who abused me, but he messaged me randomly out of blue, trying to say, "How's life?" Do you know what I mean? And I just lost my shit first thing. I was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are messaging me? Or like, you have any idea what you've done to my life and that?" Then obviously once I'd simmered down, I wanted to know why he did it to me. So I kept pushing him, and he would try to deny it at first. You know what I mean? He would try to deny he'd even done it to me. And then eventually he said, look, I were in a boys' home and I were in a bad place. I were getting abused for years, and I just thought it were normal. So that was his explanation of abusing me. Do you know what I mean? But that's when I realised, like, because of Jimmy Savile and all the stuff going on there, I realised it were a big problem, way bigger than just that kid. Do you know what I mean?
If you think about it, mate, imagine this, right? Just imagine what you just said then. I get that.
But you see, imagine the amount of people at Jimmy Savile and the likes have actually damaged along the way, and the repercussions of that wave, that shock wave, because it's like a butterfly effect in it. You know, you damage one, you damage two, you damage two, you damage four, you damage four, you damage eight, and it's a fucking web in it. It continues to go, or a ripple. So these people have created these issues from then. Now, even now, it's still happening from then. You know, the damage is incomprehensible, really.
Well,
And I know this.
why I had a
Go on,
rough
sorry.
upbringing with my parents is because my dad had a rough upbringing of his. Do you know what I mean? We only learned this. Is what I mean. When I was married, I ended up being quite rough with my stepdaughter Chloe. I was quite strict. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how my dad had always been with me, and I ended up passing that on, which you do naturally. Do you know what I mean? Until you realise it and you switch away from it. Do you know what I mean? But I used to be the really strict one, and Lonely were quite soft. Do you know what I mean? The soft behaviour, and now it's flipped. So my stepdaughter, my daughter, she'll now come to me and talk to me about problems, and she'll tell me stuff which a mum would probably flip out about because she trusts me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I speak to her like, you know, she can be open with me, and I'm not gonna get angry, and I'm not gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna try and help her think of problems. A lot of people that do you know what I mean? They just flip too easy. Do you know what I mean? And that's again because of the programming and the conditioning, and it's just learned and picked up behaviours. Monkey see, monkey do. After James Bulger, after all that happened with that kid, yeah, and they said it was horror movies, and because they watched it and picked up these things and gone out and recreated it, have we got better since that, or have we got worse? We've got a lot worse, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? The movies now are next level. I mean,
Nothing's
I watched
improved.
It as a kid, you know it, with a clown, the Stephen King, the original. I watched that when I was about 5 or 6 or something.
It would be, it wasn't, but yeah, I watched that.
It's a
Shouldn't
shit
be
horror.
watching
If
it
you
really.
watch it now, mate, it's not even scary. But at 5 years
Yeah,
old, 6 years old, when I watched that, I ended up having nightmares for years.
yeah,
Nightmares,
yeah,
clowns, firebomb in the house, loads of kind of stuff like that. If you think about it, when a kid's watching an horror movie, they're seeing a murder. They're seeing a murder. Do you know what I mean?
I know, bro. Yeah.
It's desensitizing them to all
Don't.
this.
I tell you what. What's even a bigger tool than that. I'll just say one word and you go, fuck me, yeah. COD.
Oh yeah.
And I mentioned this many times on many lives, mate. Many times on many lives, I mentioned this.
Glorifying killing, and that's what I mean. We should be stepping away.
Normalizing and desensitizing and and decriminalizing. I mean, bear in mind that they've done these studies on children to see how they change their brainwaves, how it changes their thought patterns. You know, the programs them, but also teaches them that, or doesn't teach them, it indoctrinates them to not being realizing what's reality and what's not, because these programs now, these graphics are that sharp. That you get to the point now where the frames per second are that fast.
Well, they want
that
to
your
put it
eye
there
can't.
now, don't they? On metaverse, realistic. Do you know what I mean? And it's just not good. A prisoner of your mind, then, aren't you? You literally are a prisoner of the mind. You know what I mean? You're not living. You're not going out there, and you're not experiencing life. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I like about my walks. You probably like this with your bikes when you're driving along and you're seeing all different birds and butterflies and you know what I mean? Trees, plants, colours. Do you know what I mean? Spring now, I love just going in woods and seeing all green and just colours.
Don't you think it's funny, bro? Don't you think it's funny, mate? Though I know what you're on about, but do you think it's funny? Like, always, if you talk about this, you classed as fucking weird or camp or strange. But you know what, mate? In it mad, right? That you can go out with your little family and have a little walk or a ride, or go on bikes, or go on a boat ride or something, and be speaking to your family, going, "Oh, how nice is that?" And I said, "No embarrassment." But yeah, if you go out with your mates, all of a sudden you're such a pussy. Yeah, what you showing emotion for? And that's what we're losing. You know, we've lost emotion. We've lost our sensitivity. We've lost our innocence.
When we don't express our emotions or bottle them in as well, that's when we end up getting that red mist in our head. Like I've done it before. Do you know what I mean? When I were in a bad place years ago, you know, if you don't talk about the things that are bothering you, you end up being like a ticking time bomb. So someone can say something that pisses you off, and you end up in a fight. The next thing you know, you've got 10 people dragging you off this kid who's just said something nasty to you because red's descended into a red mist just because you haven't healed from what you've gone through. You haven't talked about it. You haven't dealt with it. Do you know what I mean?
Bro.
It ends up destroying you internally, mentally.
Bro, what words that hit the ears, hit the heart. Yeah? If you take the ear out of the middle and put the eye in the hit, you get the hit the heart.
Yeah.
How about that? a bit of poetry. So if the words hit the ears, they hit the heart. Okay, if you take the ear out of the art and you put the eye in it, you get a hit.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you deflect the shit you're listening to and understand that if you get told you something, go to the mirror and tell yourself you're something else, tell yourself you're better than that. Because if you don't, you'll start to believe the shit that you're getting told 24/7 because you won't question yourself. And don't question yourself, you become that thing you've been told you are.
Yeah.
So
Like,
here's a positive note. Positive note for people listening in. If you believe you're something else and you don't want to believe that anymore, go tell yourself in the mirror you're something else. Go look at yourself and tell yourself and believe yourself. Because if you don't believe yourself, who the fuck can you believe? If you can't believe yourself, you can't believe anyone else. It's not possible. When you start to believe in yourself, you start to live.
As well, innit? It's like if you're listening, I'm shit every day, and then you tell yourself you're shit, you are manifesting that you're shit. It's like I think like it's like with medication and that, most of it's all placebo stuff in it. Do you know what I mean? Because your mind is so powerful. You can have an headache, take a fake paracetamol, but someone's told you it's paracetamol, it'll clear your headache because it's placebo effect. And I think that's all very familiar with like manifestation and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Is your brain even there?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. I'm gonna put a spin on this, right? If everything's a vibrational frequency and if it's not being observed, it's not there. That means if you can't observe it in the mind, then your mind's not there. The only thing you can see is with your eyes, and therefore the only thing that counts is I, and I am is who you are because I is what you're seeing with. And the I got split into two directions, the masculine and the feminine, to see the world through two different ways. Through the left eye, the feminine, and the right side, the masculine. Now, when the I in the middle, the third eye, got split into two eyes, we start to see things differently. We got deception. And that is why I am. I am what I am. And I accept who I am. Hey, a bit of gold,
I accept who I am.
A bit of gold for you, brother. A bit of gold. So, moving on. I want to.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to pop off in a minute because we've had quite a good fucking live here.
One thing I wanted to mention as well. You know, when you were on about Leeds, it's ancient history, like how it all started in Leeds. I wanted you to just sum that up because that's important. And obviously, you told me earlier, but because it blows my mind, I have to be told again. You know what I mean? It blows my mind, mate. Like. So cognitive dissonance stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like when you get new information in your brain that counteracts information
what you believed before
your life, you do have a problem remembering it, accepting it. Do you know what I mean? So you have to be told a few times, and you have to research it. This is what it's like. I said to my followers on Facebook the other day. Don't just believe what I wrote. Research what I wrote. Do you know what I mean?
You don't want to believe, yeah. You don't want to believe, yeah. You just want to pay attention,
explore it, and experience it themselves. You know what I mean, and bring their consciousness up, so we can all together create a better reality at the end of it.
Okay, right. So before we throw onto this one quickly, when you're paying attention to something, you're giving energy. Where attention goes, energy flows. Yeah. So attention is paying atoms tension. You're paying the tension to the atoms, but when you're paying intention to yourself and giving intention to something, you're actually trying and doing something better than paying attention. Because when you're paying attention to the wrong things, you're actually draining your energy. Yeah. When you're paying intention at something and in yourself, and you're paying attention to the right things, then the energy's going the right way, the right flow. Anyway, so moving on, United Kingdom. So when you've got the wisdom to be domesticated, to get the freedom in the kingdom, you are in the United. You are in the United Kingdom.
It's right there, though, isn't it? It is right there. It is.
So
I think it's like because everyone argues whether it's flat or round, and I said I think it's a dome. I do think it's.
I think it's a dome, and I think that just down. Like, I think we're on an angle, and the angle is we are on a bit of a wobble. We're on a wobble because that has to be because that's what gives you the seasons. That's what gives you the different weather patterns. It gives you the different days. We have to have a difference. We don't have a difference in each day. We're just living the same day. Groundhog Day. We can't live Groundhog Day, can we? Groundhog Day, man. You can't have Groundhog Day every day, can you? Got to have a different bit of weather patterns. And the sun is the thing that creates the weather patterns. It's not the moon that creates the tidal waves. It's the sun. The sun creates all the energy shifts that we need for the life to survive, for the tides to turn, for the sands to come up. The sands of time. And it creates this through energetic shifts of hot and cold or waves, so to speak, because everything's waving. The sea's waving. The sea's a sound wave itself that creates the winds, that creates the winds that we smell, that we see, and the winds that the light carries on. because light carries on atmosphere, and atmosphere is the winds. So it was also it was carried on the winds, and you smell the first thing you do in any sense. The first thing you do is you smell. We have an amygdala that reacts in a certain way that creates a fight or flight. So we're on about. Sorry, mate, I just fucking go off on a tandem.
Leeds is ancient.
Yeah, so Leeds. So if you're looking at the dome as being a dome, and we are on this angular system of a plate or a flat Earth, then we are just south of the North Pole in the sense of the way it all pans out. You look at the flights and everything, and the United Kingdom is just is the center of it all. It's where everybody always landed. Leidis, and the Viking.
Cumbria, you've got the Eden. Garden of Eden.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Do you know what I mean? So the United Kingdom. Why do you think the Germanics wanted to come over here? Why do you think the Germans come over here and created what they created? Because and we're all English and British, and you got British Columbia here and the British Isles there, and literally everything's been Britishized, and even America is run by Britain. You got
it was colonized by the Brits, wasn't it? So.
British District of Columbia, that's its own country. London's own country. Vatican's its own country. But the one that controls it all is the money, because the money is the devil, and the money makes the world go round. Without the money, the world wouldn't be round, would it? So
we can't buy or sell without a birth certificate. We can't do anything without a birth certificate. Without that number that our parents got when we were born. We can't do anything. We can't do anything without a birth certificate. So that's like your mark of the beast thing, isn't it?
Bro, let me get into it. Because I know that people listening to this will enjoy this, because I enjoy it. I enjoy just talking about it, to be fair, because I get it. So in 1666, take 1,000 years off of the Dark Ages, which never happened. All right, so Dark Age, now we've got 666, when London, the Great Fire, evacuated all the people from London, and they created, then they stated that everyone was lost at sea, dead, save our souls, SOS. So then people come back, now it's its own country. Everyone that comes back now is a dead at sea. Now you get a birth certificate, say you've been birthed. Now you got your birth certificate to say that you are a dead entity, and you are now belonged. Your soul is now belonged. You actually have a soul imprint put on a piece of paper when you're born, which is your soul print, your soul imprint.
Phone's dying off it. Oh no, it's not.
All right, so it'll be these countries.
Then I thought we were going to go off, but it's not.
Yeah. So it's all right, man. So London is one of the main parts of it. Actually, York was the capital of this country. Then it was supposed to go to Leeds, which is on one of the ley lines. And then we moved it to London, which is on the dragon ley lines, dragons or lizards or whatever. So anyway, this ley line, why do you think all the roads run through Leeds? All roads lead to Leeds, all lead through Leeds.
M1's directly from Leeds to London. M62, obviously.
M621, M6219. M621 equals 9. M1. Look at the letter M as well. If you want to go research fucking letter, because letters are also vibrations. The vibrations are energetics. So just like words are creating different alchemies of vibrations. So London is the center of the complex of the Holy Trinity of the evilness. So you got the religious complex of the Vatican. Then you got the military complex of the Pentagon in Washington DC, and then you got the London complex of the banking systems that control the revenue stream of the currency. So if that's the case, mate, and right now Leeds is getting a massive cash influx, and the cash influx is because I think they're going to try and make it into the new Babylon, the new big apple. The new Big Apple, which is Babylon. Big Apple. There you go, yeah. And they're creating this electrical circuit microchip system with the buses that are electricized. Yeah, and if you haven't noticed with that as well, they're putting blockades up and barriers up here then everywhere, and they're going to be basically locking down Leeds. Leeds are going to be like the new fucking Babylonia by the looks of it. They're going to try and make it like that anyway. So that's the case, bro. Leeds is very, very important in all this, and mate, it's just fucking mind-bending because...
Well, I know the Leeds is actually older. I looked before, and Leeds was actually... The Freemasonry links to Leeds actually go back further than Bohemian Grove and Yale, which they're pretty prominent, you know what I mean? But like you say, United Kingdom, and it's a centre, and it all started here. Even the 1776 revolution with the British colonials over there.
Yeah. Well, look.
It does make sense that it started in Leeds.
Look at this, then, bro. Queen I just little psyops. The full 80s was a psyop to change people's minds and to fracture and to weaken the family through gay activities. But George Michael's, fucking Elton John, Queen, to name a few. So Freddie Mercury, Freddie Mercury, right?
Yeah.
Freddie's quite a demonic name as well, like Freddy Krueger. So it's a word. It's a name they use for reasons. There's no coincidences.
A lot of
Freddie
it's
Mercury.
Gematria, innit? Gematria, if you start
Yeah.
a lot in
Yeah.
there.
So We Will Rock You and all these, Bohemian Rhapsody, Bohemian Grove. And that was a well celebrated and very long song as well, bear in mind.
Yeah,
and these were a psyop. These were a paid psyop to change
Listen to words of
the
Bohemian,
mind
it
of men.
says it in itself, doesn't it, in the words of the song?
Yeah. So it's a case of when you look deep at things instead of just being so blasé and just brushing over shit and not looking into what it really means. You got to understand that. You don't gotta. But if you can and you're willing to, in a stand and go look inside, then look outside, then look inside, look outside, and keep going through these processes, you will learn so much more than just sitting home scrolling up and down on everyone else's lives. I mean, I'm not even asking you to scroll up and down my life. I'm just asking you to take a bit of time out to have a bit of knowledge poured into your mind.
Yeah,
I'm not forcing it, not force feeding it. I'm not even asking you to pay for it. It's free information, it's free knowledge, and it's wisdom.
Yeah. Well, that's all we're
To get your freedom.
Get to the truth, aren't we? And if you know when you said like people get really triggered when it's not the truth that they want to hear. Well, that's the thing. That's got to be dropped. You can't be like that. Do you know what I mean? Because we are just on a learning path. Do you know what I mean? We're advance and move on. Do you know what I mean?
We're actually on a reverse pyramid scheme. We're actually lifting each other up now. We're becoming self-sufficient. We're becoming self-educated. We're becoming intelligence. We're getting intelligence again.
Revelation.
Yeah.
Revelation, the method, because that's what they do, isn't it?
Well, we're spelling out. I'll tell you what we're doing right now when we're speaking, bro. We're spelling, and when we're spelling, we're unspelling the spells that have been created to create the illusions and the hypnosis that we're under. So the revelations is the revealing the lies in a certain way, shape, and form, rhythm and flow to create that image in the mind to understand what life really is, and what life was about, but what life can be about now in the future that we're going into. So, the positivity needs to be heightened, the love needs to be brought. And like I sound like such a fucking mad bastard, me, because I can get that ring and fight and do what I do, and I can be that.
It's different. It's
Yeah.
like when you
It's about control, control,
rugby and stuff, and you're getting smashed and that, and you've got the
control, bro, control.
You want to win. You want to win. Do you know what I mean? The game is there. We've got that mentality. We always want to win. Everybody. So, it don't matter who you are. You want to win.
Self-control gets you the win. I see passion. So you got hate, which is erratic and unpredictable, and then you got passion, which is controlled and inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big game now. It's about finding out who you are, and once you find out who you are, just what your place is in the world.
Yeah.
And so if we're at this point in the game and you've not fallen for whatever you've fallen for within the traps of the Dungeons and Dragons, then I can imagine you're going to make it to the end. Just avoid the snakes on the snakes and ladders because they're everywhere.
Because you end up going back 20 steps in.
Fucking hell, yeah. Right, brother. Listen, it's been absolutely amazing getting in touch with you,
speaking. It's been a good chat, man. I appreciate it.
No worries, man. If you want to do another live another day, any day, just give me a shout. I'll do these. Definitely. It's a bit of a pastime right now for me because instead of sat playing on a computer game or twirling through fucking Facebook and other social medias, I'd rather be on here and helping people with a mindset.
We all need to come together, don't we? Somehow, and it's like even now, like I've called loads of people out because of symbols and stuff, but I know that we need them people in this fight. Do you know what I mean? So, I won't stop what I'm doing because you've got to educate. If people don't know these symbols are dark and the dark omens and they're going to bring dark omens upon yourself. People need educating on that. Do you know what I mean?
It's the
rising, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, the masks are falling. I keep putting posts now. I was putting posts before saying take your masks off so we can see who you are. People must be thinking, what the fuck is it's not Halloween, is it? But it's going to be soon. It's going to be fucking soon. So, bro, prepare yourselves. Guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you very much. Thanks for coming on and watching and listening in, and at least taking time to look at it from a different point of view. be it yours now, be it yours never. It doesn't matter to us. It's been great having you on, brother. We'll have to get you on another time. If you want to share this about, it'd be great. If you want to get in a podcast of your own at some point, I don't mind coming and join you and spreading some news.
I was going to do all that before, but I ended up doing Media City. Then I went to G7, and then we went to Tory Party conference. Here, check this. My mate Danny spoke to David Ames at the Tory Party conference, and then 2 weeks later, he got stabbed in that psyop.
Oh,
that's David Ames. My mate were talking.
Yeah,
police
best thing
actually
to do,
came
mate.
up because he were hitting him with truth. My mate were actually giving him all this knowledge, and he were listening. Obviously, my mate were there with his dogs, listening to him and stuff. And then police came over, ended up doing stop and searches on my mate because he were talking to him.
Got his name, his details.
So my mate obviously give him that knowledge, and then all of a sudden he's been see you later. It just doesn't add up, does it? I mean, have you seen as well the video of the guy who got? They've actually put out video footage of him first getting arrested. Yeah,
bro.
It said
Can I stop you? Can I stop you there? Right. It's knowledge we need to know, but at the same time, just understand this. Yeah, when you're spreading this sort of knowledge, it puts fear into other people that speak.
Yeah.
Now, whatever people's path is, it's their path. Yeah. Whatever they decide to do and whatever happens to them, the news reports on things to put fear into people. Yeah. If we didn't know someone got stabbed halfway around the world right now, and I don't mean like as in around the round ball world, I mean as in around the disc.
Yeah.
If someone got stabbed around the world right now, right, and no one ever heard of someone getting stabbed, and then all of a sudden the news reported everyone getting stabbed or someone getting stabbed, right, what would happen then is it plants a seed in their mind, and our children one day hear about this stabbing, and they go, all right, okay, I know about stabbing now. I'll get my fucking butter knife sharpened up, yeah? So when we're saying this stuff, we're actually taking people off their chosen path. So when they hear this stuff, and this is actually quite educational, this what I'm saying here, because this actually helps understand how fear is spread. The news only is the news because the news has something to report on. If the news had nothing to report on, there'd be no seeds planted about atrocities and murders and drug dealings and whatever else happens. So without the news, the perpetual fear that we actually face every day would not be here. These people give you the fear, so they've got a job to give you. Now, when they give you a story, when we're mainstream news now, brother, understand that we are in the age of the knowing of technology, knowing. Right, so when we know through technology, we've got to use the Garden of Eden's apple this year, the Garden of Good and Bad, for good and not bad. So we don't spread bad, we spread good. So use the phone for good and not bad. You get it? Because this is a precursor. This is our advancement into technology, into the era of technology.
Manifest the good,
there you go, right? So say that me and you were speaking now, right? And I wasn't the fearless motherfucker I am, and you weren't the fearless motherfucker you are, and we just went, okay, right? This happened today, and I go, oof, what happened to him? You say, yeah, and then everyone else in the chat goes, fucking hell, someone got killed for speaking truth to this man. And then they go, should I fucking speak any more truth? Wow, look at this, how dangerous it is. The best thing to do is, brother, when that happens, just go, look, there's been a bit of misunfortunate incident. You know, we are going to have casualties of war. This is a silent war to a degree. It's always quietest before it's the loudest. All right. So understand, right? Before the storm, it's the quietest, the calmest, yeah. And it's right calm right now, isn't it? If we start to spread fear, we're gonna weaken our forces. We're gonna weaken who we are. Yeah, exactly, mate. Mass psychosis, docileness, running, not fighting. So the people that speak what they're speaking right now, if they hear stuff like that, will go into the shell and start to curl up, and they'll go into the fetal position. We don't want them in fetal position. We don't want them being babies. We want them being men.
News, not the bad news.
Yeah, exactly, brother. So when you hear stuff like that, be mindful on who you're giving it to and why you're giving it to them, and be mindful that the people that are in the conversation are able to take it and continue doing the things they're doing in a positive manner. That is it. That's my own advice to you, bro. And listen, and once again,
it makes sense. Definitely.
So like I say,
the positive reality, it's not going to help talking about negative things all the time, is it?
Yeah, so I like to talk about the root of things so we can understand them in our minds, think of what we can do to change. So I don't say you should think about doing this. I just say, right, this is why it happens, and then they can go, well, if that's how it happens, why don't we just stop doing that?
Yeah.
And I'm giving not just the reason why we're doing it. I'm giving the reason as to why it's been given to us, what the side effects are, and what the repercussions are of the actions that we're taking for the actions that have been given to us. So, on that note, I just want to say I hope you've all enjoyed this chat. It's been educational for me as well.
Yeah.
So, from Crazy Smudger in Leeds. Woo! Woo! Been a pleasure.
See you in that boxing gym, mate. And when is your fight and stuff? Because obviously, I'll spread the word on that. Do you know what I mean? Because I love boxing, mate. It's one of the best physical sports out there. I mean, I've done rugby, I've done football, I've done all that, but there's nothing quite like 3 minutes of boxing. Even 3 minutes of boxing make you pagged out you. You know what I mean? Because you're using every muscle in your body.
Yeah, it's a very lonely sport, is boxing.
The gentlemanship, like my granddad were always saying as well. He'd got right angry at his opponents and stuff, but once they'd had that fight in that ring, it disappears. You shake hands, that's it.
Mate, I'm really trying to stop this video now. So
yeah,
I was
sorry,
to say, no, it's fine. I didn't really spoke much about my fight. All I'm going to quickly say, and then we need to say, boy, is if anyone in the spiritual truth moving community wants to back me, wants to come and see, wants to support, wants to come and join in some training, do some hill walking, some hiking, some biking, some camping, go out and get in some nature, do some fucking positive natural stuff, then let's go get it on. I want some natural sponsors. I'm after some natural, some filtered type sponsors for filtered water, for natural clothing without dyes. Anything to do with positivity that can help us advance as a race to get away from this fucking bullshit we're in. Then I'm fighting for that, and I'm fighting for the rights of people as well. I'm just fucking speaking my truth whilst I'm doing my thing. So if you can back me, then I appreciate that. So. On that note, brother, I appreciate that. I'll see you down at the gym at Golden Team if you want to come down. You got my number now. Let's link up. Good night and God bless.
Night.
Take it easy. Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Have a great day tomorrow. Bye bye.
And you, thank you very much. See you later, bro.
Bye.